Today at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop Deal Double G.
Snoop, where can people go to find great deals?
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25.
That's quite a deal, Snoop. And when you switch to T-Mobile, you can save versus the other big guys' comparable plans plus streaming.
Respect. We up out of here.
See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Came without warning, though others allege that the Trithalon Corporation knew about the voices for months in advance. Of course, no reliable evidence have been denied by the Trithalon Corporation, but which continue to, they say, are borne out by the strange lesions developed by many of their former. The corporation assures the public that containment has not been breached, believes the situation to be, quote, a lot of fuss over a handful of misplaced teeth.
Step 1. Wash and shave the back of the patient's neck and the base of the skull. This is to minimize the risk of infection once the incision is made. In addition, all scalpels, rods, and other instruments should be properly sanitized both before and after any use. Step 2. Locate the first vertebra.
Had been administering extensive surgical procedures of no scientific value, and says the problem is not systemic and the individuals responsible had been reassigned to different departments. Adamant that antitrust legislation could prove disastrous is executed before the end of the current crisis. Eventual resolution, Trithalon would voluntarily disband. Increasing regularity and severity of ethical violations, public support for Trithalon is at an all-time high, considered justified in the existing climate.
You know, I've been thinking about this old case lately. It was this string of strange deaths. They appeared to be suicides, but something was always off, and the police had cause to believe that there was foul play. Now, the cause of the death, the setup, that was nothing out of the ordinary, but each body was accompanied by a letter. All of them, every single one, worded in an eerily similar way. They all talked about this figure that they weren't quite clear in describing. An angel of mercy, they called it. After a while, the case went cold, as some do, but that's not what's been bothering me. No. It's because of one other thing. Now, every victim would have a note, the letter, yes, but also, without fail, every one of them would be clutching this big feather, black as jet. A feather just like the one I found in my...
Had been using criminals, illegal aliens, and other undesirable elements as test subjects to measure the effects of the anomalies. Unpleasant but necessary in light of high loss of life among subjects, along with a lack of proper oversight, contributed to increasingly broad interpretations of who could be deprived of citizenship by Trithalon Corporation security forces.
I don't go out at night much more. I look to my fields during the day, harvest what needs it, make sure the irrigation's flowing good. Then I keep holed in. Don't let the dog out either. The new girl, I mean. Had her for 3 years now, and she's a good girl. Keeps me company on those lonely nights. You remember Jack, yeah? He was a good dog, too. Things was different then. I'd let Jack come and go as he pleased. Go out at night to make his water, catch some rats. That dog was just about the best ratter I've ever seen. Of course, one night Jack doesn't come home. I don't think nothing of it, but come morning I find him laying dead in the dirt out behind the house. Poor Jack, with that scared look on his face and a bite about 2 feet wide taken out of his side. So I don't let the new girl out at night. We stay inside and listen to the awful skittering, and leave whatever's out there to its business.
With oversight of the Trithalon Corporation, now covering most of the Pacific Northwest, Trithalon's another 4,000 of their human test subjects in an attempt to speed up the pace of claimed the research program was not related to the anomalies, but was being used to drive other revenue-generating branches of the corporation. Called the accusations absurd, and furthermore, will be among the first to be summarily executed under the new suspensions of judicial process.
He was about 5 or 6 when his mother and I first brought him to Georgian Bay. Near where we were staying, the water had worn away a series of deep crevices in the rock. I remember so clearly the first time he climbed up there. Diana called for him to be careful, but when he looked back he was smiling.
"There's caves," he said. "I know, sweetie," she said. Then, he said something which made the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. He said, "I want to get lost in here." General breakdown of public order. Security forces urged calm even as they withdrew into certain fortified compounds. After the accident, Diana and I had him cremated and took the ashes up to Georgian Bay. It was just about the last thing we ever did together. I wanted to spread him over the lake, but she said he'd always loved the rocks more. So we shook out the urn, and a gust of wind caught the ashes and blew them down into the crevice. So in the end, he got what he wanted. Although sometimes, when I think back, I wonder if it was him who wanted the cave, or the cave that wanted him. If anybody's still listening, please. There are dozens of us in here, none of us afflicted yet, but they're I'm terribly sorry. It seems we were having some trouble with the airwaves. Pay no mind to what you heard. Just small stories of small consequence. In any case, you may wish to adjust the dial. Well, you may wish to, but it's likely far too late for that. You are now listening to the wrong station. Hello, it's Anthony here from The Wrong Station. Well, you've been waiting, and now, you guessed it, we're gearing up for Season 2. You can expect to see the first episode at the end of October, barring any disastrous setback, of course. You may have noticed that this teaser is being released on a Sunday night, and that will be the new time that episodes are released, for all you commuters on Monday morning. We're very excited for this season. We've got more great performers coming in. We have some guest-written episodes coming up, that's new. And of course, plenty of the original horror and strange tales that you've come to love. I hope, at least. And before I go, I'd just like to thank all of our listeners, on both mine and Alexander's behalf, for all of your support and for helping us get to 10,000 downloads. I think maybe 12,000 by the time I'm recording this. Never, when we had the idea for this podcast, did we think it would have such a great reception. So just thank you for the people that we know that have listened in, people who have stumbled upon it and listened to one episode, or people from all over Canada and all over the world who've just found the podcast and love what we do. So we hope you enjoyed this teaser episode. We hope you enjoy Season 2. And until next time, thank you for listening.